So we have another show, but we'll just let me see who that person is and see if I can. I don't know them. I don't think. Let me see. No, I don't. So we'll just have to take it right to the last second. Looks like we're live. It's gonna take a couple of minutes. How you been?
Oof, what a question.
I know, man. It's been crazy. I mean, it's crazy good. You know, it's all happening.
Yes,
It's
a lot of things. A lot of things happening. A lot of things happening at once.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah. So, what can I say? Times. Hectic.
Good times.
Crazy from left to right, up, down. Things you thought you cleared, you suddenly meet deeper layers of clearings of stuff that you never thought about, and therefore clearance. So very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Joy time also.
Yeah, it's funny because nobody's immune to that, but we're immune to all of that.
Yeah,
you know, this whole
guess
thing. Yeah.
That's that journey.
Right.
Hmm?
So, yeah, you know, we've done a few shows together, and you know, we were highlighting the hero's journey this month, and
Right.
Morgan said, I said, Michael's coming on. She said, yeah, he's got something to say, you know. And I'm like, wow, because a couple of people have come on that I've known that I didn't know the depth of their story. You know, it's like, wow. So, yeah, and we can talk about recent stuff too, but yeah, it's all yours, man. Welcome back.
Right. Well, first of all, I love to be here. How do I share this? This is
here. Let me look right? While you get started. I'll just tag you on it. Okay, if you want me to.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Oh my God, battery's up. Yeah, I'll just do it.
I already went to your wall.
What's that? Oh, if you want to share, if you got it, yeah, it's already up. So you can go ahead.
I will share it from your wall.
What in the... Okay. Yeah. So yeah, 10-minute late start. Sorry, folks. We got two more shows today. We got one right at 50 minutes from now, but we're gonna just keep on trucking. So, Michael, what's happening? How are you and your partner doing?
We're doing fine. I'm trying to share this, but this is not working.
Here, let me just tag you on it.
No. I'm trying to share it, but I just shared it now publicly, so that's.
Oh, okay, you got it.
That's right. But
all good in the Soulogy hood.
If I want to share it to a group, it takes a long time before it's loading. So we're not gonna do that. We're gonna not keep people waiting. So, wow, we've been good. Oh, where are you?
I'm here. I am here. I will never leave.
There you are. Can I make this big? Okay. So that I don't have to use my glasses. Oh, that's much better. We've been rather good. Ups and downs. Not really downs, but a lot of things that we met in this last year and a half. You know, we were talking just yesterday about how Todd said that everything is like breaking apart, friends, family. And I said, well, it's not really breaking or falling apart. It was never good. Otherwise, it would not fall apart. Can you see that? She said, wow, that is actually very, very true. Because if there's really love and acceptance, then it doesn't really matter what you will choose. But in our families, both families, we really met resistance to what we believe or what we know, or so things are falling apart, but they're not really falling apart because they were never really good.
Yeah.
So so yet, you know, the human is living this this period,
Yeah.
and holy shit, I have days that I cannot function, that I just want to sleep, and
Yeah.
and that I'm becoming aware that I'm still in the game. I'm still busy with what's happening outside. We all are, because we are all being pulled into this IT thing, and it all got us by the neck, and it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. That doesn't matter where you look, left or right. You are in it. So I said,
Yeah.
wow, I don't want to be in that anymore. I
Yeah.
really want to step out of that, because from a grand from higher up, it's all a play. It's not even real. We're not real. This is just the illusion, projection, hologram. So everything that we get upset about, and it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense also. So I'm going from, I have all kinds of experiences lately that tell me back off, shut up, disconnect from there, disconnect from there. And
Hang on, we're losing you. The signal's out. Let's all just kind of put our intentions on solidifying the signal on his end. Michael is speaking galactic. Yes, he is. I don't think he knows he's frozen. I just want to say I saw Kelly Bird in here, and I remember her from the last few years off and on. And I just want to say you're a very brave soul, and I'd love to have you on the show. Here's Michael back. What's happening?
I was galactic.
You were galactic, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So did you, I don't even know. Did you, I mean, I always ask that question. Were you born this way, or have you always been this weird?
I guess I have been always.
I mean, did you have? I mean, has yours been like a natural evolution, or did you actually go through some major shit, like a lot of people did when they woke up? How did you convert? How did you transition? How did you convert?
Well, I went through some major shit when I was very young. My parents divorced when I was 2, and a very good gentleman friend of me told me that I was at that age trying to save their marriage. And the funny thing is that I understood what he was saying. And so my mom and me, we moved to France, to a little place in the Dordogne. And we lived there for some years. And she married again with a hotel owner who was not so nice to her. He threw her off the stairs. And so one night she took me back to Holland in the car, and we kind of fled France. And I was 5, 6. And so we had to go back to Holland, and there she had to work. And so she had put me temporarily in a children's home, in a home for orphans, wow. A Jewish children's home. And I could have lived with my father, and he took care of me when we just arrived, because she didn't know where to go. And then he wanted custody, and so they fought, and she said no, and then she took me away from there and rather put me in the children's home than let me live with my father, because she would lose custody. So some things happened there in that home, sexually abused that I cannot really recall, but I did some checking with my guidance, with how I check things. I use my arm nowadays. It's like it's going forward and backwards. I lie down, put up my arm, and I let my body answer questions that my mind cannot. And so some pretty nasty stuff happened there. But I also figured out that I was able to resist, to say no, to not give in freely. So, and I recently remembered this part of my life, because I remember a time where I was sexually molested by a man. I was 9, 8, 9. And it was after the period that I was in that home. And so I brought that to my little brothers in my father's home. Sometimes I went to the weekend. And so I did whatever I did because of what I had experienced. And so that was seen by my father, and he sent me home like some dirty little package, which really impacted my life greatly, which I understood later, of course. But I felt always dirty and weird, and but something, Todd, in me there was always this little flame of joy. And I don't know what it is, but it got me here until today. And it's something very strong, very powerful, like not afraid also. Rather angry than afraid, more angry than afraid. And so I had these experiences in a young age, and I understood that in this Jewish children home, there was satanic stuff going on. And I don't recall it. Maybe it's better, but I did feel the emotions from it. I wept, and I went through quite some stuff emotionally, because I thought it only happened at 8 or 9, but now I understood that it happened already much more early, because I understood that I was doing things that, how could a child do those things if he didn't already experience that? You know, like a guy in Iceland cannot imagine palm trees in Mallorca because he's never been there. So.
Oh, he went out again. This is some powerful code. Isn't that amazing how it went out right when he said that? He'll figure it out. Are you back? Yeah. Okay, you just faded out. You're frozen. You're good. You're good. The voice is there. Audio there. Check. Yeah, barely. Let's give it a second again. It's not a coincidence. He was talking about that, how some of this came back recently, and I was going to ask him, because I've kind of had the same thing happen. I'm like, well, this thing is coming back along the same lines of what he's talking about, and I don't know anything about it. So I think this is interesting. This is good for all of us. You back?
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's all good. We'll roll right through it, man. This is not a human-only type of connection, as we all know now. Some of the weird stuff happening on these shows.
Yeah,
Michael.
Well, I know I'm being jammed.
Yeah. You there? Okay, we'll just keep pushing through it. Do not underestimate the power of this transmission. Doesn't have to be in words. You're still just hang in there because the signal's really weak. We can't hear you. Just barely comes in. Oh, I think you're back now. Good. You're good. Can you hear me? Yeah, you're good now. It's just fading in and out, but we got this.
Yeah, it does that. So, but if we're patient, it will come back.
Yeah, of course.
But I noticed that the internet is doing strange the last few days.
Yeah.
Really very slow.
Yeah.
So
well, all I got to say up to this point on this show, the information you've given us, I've never heard in 3,000 shows. I mean, this is powerful for a couple of reasons. One, the admissions that you've made of yourself as a child, which I think is probably a lot more common than we think. And I think that might be you had faded out, and I was just saying it was not a coincidence that because you had said that some of the stuff was coming back now. And I kind of had this creeping into the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I wondered about that. And I was going to ask you about that, and then you said it. And then the other thing is, I wonder, well, why don't you just continue with what you want to do? I mean, what you want to say. Go ahead. Oh, he's frozen. There he goes. Just keep going. You're good. It's gone again. I have a feeling that more and more, and I'm not saying this is the gospel truth. I have a feeling that there's going to be more and more, in fact, a huge amount of revelation from people or memories about sexual abuse, sexual molestation, and the things that came from it. It would only make sense. That's where our deepest suppressions are.
Boom.
You got it. Amazing. Yeah. Are you sweating?
I'm sweating. It's so hot, Todd. It's
really?
Like crazy hot here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting in the top floor. So I just turned on the air conditioning, but it makes a bit of a noise. So I didn't want to use it, but I have to. Can you hear me?
Yes. Did you lose memory of all that happened in your childhood? Did you lose memory, all of it, and start getting it back, or did you always remember?
No, I lost some memories, but from the children home, I do remember, and weird stuff happened there, and it was a Jewish, very strict children home, and so it seeded my anti-Jewish. I really was anti everything, God, even church, but I'm Jewish, so that was a problem. But I always resisted it, and now I understand why, because I'm not Jewish. I was born Jewish, but I'm not Jewish. I'm nothing really. That's all an illusion. So, wow, I had quite an interesting life very early on, and it gave me a lot of experiences. Then I'm now using them actually. So in 2005, I met a very special lady who helped me transform all the stuff from before, actually, the way I thought about my past, how I was still carrying so much baggage and guilt for things that I don't have to feel guilty for.
Yeah.
And so she made me see all those things in a different daylight, from understanding why I had behaved from a certain age until a certain age, where you just react to what's happening. So for me, that was like a fresh wind, and it changed my life to be able to see the things that happened, just things that happened still happen, but they have a different meaning today.
Yeah.
They carry a different energy because I changed how I feel about it. And they have meaning, really. They don't happen randomly. I saw the world, a new world where there was no more sickness, where there was drama, no money, maybe even. I don't really remember. Like Jesus could touch people, and so I saw myself doing that. I was dreaming about that. So it was always kind of there. And so my journey is a journey of saying no, resisting. And Franco, he mentioned this, that they gave me, everybody is like playing a role. And they gave me all the tools that I needed, actually, by being an asshole father or a very strict mother or whatever we want to label. They did exactly what we agreed and what we need on a soul level in that moment. And that goes both ways, of course. You know, how I behaved was in a way serving them as well. So everybody is served in the end. Yeah.
Have you ever talked about this before? That's some pretty deep stuff, man. That's like deep.
5, I don't have any problem talking about it because I'm on top of the world.
Yeah.
Since that time, you know.
Absolutely.
So it it changed everything. I'm just a happy guy, going through quite some jungle at the moment because holy shit, look what they're putting in front of us. But the joy and the happiness inside, it doesn't go 1 minute, really. It doesn't go 1 minute. So no,
if you think about, like, if I sit here and think about what you've just, what you talked about and how your perception changed in 2005, what you're describing that's happening collectively, it's the same energy. It's the same thing. So if it worked for Michael, the individual, it's going to work for the world. And as the individual goes, so goes the collective.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever we think, quote unquote, they are our brother, sister souls that are playing those roles, no different than the asshole father and so on and so on. It's really, and I know it sounds crazy, but you're living proof. It's perception. The veil is strictly fucking perception. That's it. Because our perception is what creates, and I know it sounds cliche and new age-ish, but your proof, your story is proof. Just the way you're able to sit here and talk about it is the proof to me.
Yes, it is. It is. And cliche indeed, but wow, it's not, because I've been saying this for fucking 15 years, that what we think we see matters.
Yeah. Yes.
But nobody really understands what that means, the deepness of what that really means, because everything that we read in a paper or see on the television or hear from other people, which we adopt as truth, it does something, and everything we utter, it has an effect, always.
Right.
Even if you don't say it, but think it, it has an effect. And so I guess we arrived in in the time now that is going to take the forefront, really, that our thoughts really, really matter, and that we should not be busy with anything that goes on really outside, like Q, True, Biden, the whole shabam. We walked right into the trap. Part in my life where I'm dropping things like flies, and really it's good.
Have you had any identity deaths lately?
Quite a few. You know, I'm sitting here connecting to my higher self, and I'm very into the material of Ashayana Dean, the freedom teaching, and I'm doing her meditations, Todd, and I'm weeping, not from an emotion, just from feeling the connection, and suddenly the tears start rolling over my cheeks, and I'm like, what's happening? You know? So I don't know why I'm telling you this, but oh yeah, identity deaths. many. It's I catch myself still being the person and expressing things from the person, and it's an ongoing process, and I think it will stop when we are ready to leave this place. So yeah.
I don't think that stops.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it stops, and that's not a bad thing.
No.
But yeah, like what you said, though, I think there's a new clarity to everything, obviously. But what you said was so. First of all, the example of your story, the way you tell your story, and what you say about how it, you know, what it's like, or where you're at now, and how you look at things now. You know, one of the things that I admire about you in anyone is that they're not afraid to put stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're coming from a high intention. We're coming from the heart. We're coming because we want to help. We want to bring alignment. We want to bring healing and all that. And we don't always. And when you do that, you're going to show your ass. You're going to show your ass sometimes, but I really admire you and people like you that just continue to put it out there. And the real message, or the real code for me is in the transformation, like letting go, letting go of the identities, so to speak, belief systems, and that takes a lot of balls.
Yes,
it does.
and time as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
How? Okay, I know this incredible woman helped you in 2005. How? I mean, I can't even imagine. But how did you? I mean, that was the pivotal point. Was there anything you had to do from your own intestinal fortitude? You know, your own internal engine. I mean, was it a? I mean, that's just a huge transformation, in perspective, and therefore reality that you've lived.
I was 40 at that time. I just turned 40, and I went to Greece, to Crete, to work as a DJ. And my mom said, which she threw me a birthday party. It was before I left. She said, well, now you're going to go for a job, right? You're now 40, and now life begins. No more music, and get serious. I said, well, I'm going to Crete, Mom. She said, what are you going to do? I'm going to work as a DJ for a few months. I cannot believe it. So I went, and when I arrived, I felt like, I'm not sure if this is really for me, because it was not really my kind of music that they wanted to hear in the beginning of the season, because it was not started yet and people wanted music. But anyway, long story short, my suitcase didn't arrive. It went to New York, I found out later. So for 3 weeks I was without a suitcase, and I was sick in that time. And I was like, I want to get the fuck out of here. My mom was right. My mom was right. I should never do this again. What was I thinking? So it was not that I was already on my path. I went to a lot of psychic people, and I was busy with spirituality, really. Um, but not in the sense most people would be busy with it. Not meditating, not more in my mind, being nice to people. I always had weird friends. You know, my mom said always, why you bring home weird people and people that are beneath our standing? And so I did it even more. I went out on that direction to make her feel bad. But I really loved those people, so I really hung out with them. And that's just me. So I don't look at where you're coming from. I just, if I like you, you're my friend, and if not, also fine. I go there and you go there. But so I met her in Crete, and that was very, very intense. That was such a connection. We couldn't stop talking. So I finished my tour there, what I had to do, and I left earlier than I was planned, and I went straight to her, and we spent a lot of time there together, and it started my healing journey. And so I quit smoking weed for 4 years. I went to some people that helped me clear some stuff that I could not remember from what age, through, how do you call it, pendulum, or
yeah, dowsing.
dowsing, yeah.
Yeah.
A very old lady, she was taking away entities, and she said, you have to stop smoking weed because you are inviting it again and again. And in front of my door, right in the street. And I'm like, you cannot be, you're kidding me. I never found a joint in my life like this. But the day that I decided to stop smoking, one in front of my door. So I opened my door, I stepped over it, and I closed it. After 2 hours, I went to look if it's still there, but it was gone.
Wow.
So, yeah. So we had a very, very big connection that did a lot of things with me. It put me in a total different path. Even with making music or being a DJ, it already shifted back then into a direction that was not what it was before. I could not be in that kind of nightlife even. So,
wow,
big shift, yeah. So it took me like a few years to figure out all the ages that certain things happened to me, and it was amazing how these people did that. I was so amazed. Like, my mom sent me to a psychologist, and I said, no, I don't want that. I went a few times and said, listen, that's it, that's not for me. And then eventually I find people like this, or psychic people, that tell you pop, 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 pop. And like, wow, how can you know? And it, pop, 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 it falls for you. So that was part of my journey. People like that help me in a metaphysical way. I'm still here.
Yeah, you're here. I'm just taking in all the energy. It's a combination of galactic interference. I don't know what's going on, but it's coming out perfect. Yeah. That was an incredible story, though. You're told to give up weed, and you do, and you open up the door, and there's a joint on your porch. And you step over it and close the door. I mean, that's actually a powerful, energetic action, movement.
Yeah, yes. And I did smoke
Hundred and 11 people in the house.
people. I still followed my heart, and it got me where I am today. And what is heart? It is knowing that you don't want to do it, so you don't do it.
Mm.
It's following the knowing. It's maybe a bit more easy to grasp than what is intuition. It's a deep knowing that you know you don't want, but there's so many reasons why you cannot say no, and so that will really want me to say no, because all of that, then I will choose to say no.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one now, isn't it?
Mm.
All these no's, which aren't negative, they're just to thine own self be true kind of frequency. All these no's are creating those splits that you were talking about at the top of the show.
Yeah. Yesterday I was like thinking about the great divide. We are in the great divide, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing about it is that we all need to understand where we have been standing all along. Not you and me, but like many people, they vote and they choose and they
Man, that was amazing what he talked about. And the whole thing's been amazing, but yeah, the way he talked about it in the first 15 minutes, that was just, I've never heard anybody say something like that. It was amazing. He's trying to come back on, but I don't think it's going to be able to. For some reason, I just intuitively know. Michael, I don't know if you're in the lobby, but I can't see you or hear you, and you're off the screen. We'll have to get him back on when he has better reception. But isn't it amazing how he was telling this story and talking about having what was done to him that he could remember, and then eventually remembered other parts of it, and then the things that he did as an effect of what was done to him. But how he looked at it after meeting this lady in 2005, and his perspective changed, and those things that are so horrible from the human perspective changed, and those veils were lifted. You can see he didn't have any animosity in his heart. So I look at that and go, okay, look at what's going on now. Is it not the same thing? You know, these things that are happening in the collective that are distracting us and stealing our power, we can say no to that. That's what he did. He said no, like all of you, to the things that seemingly paralyze us and incapacitate us. Anyway, that was a powerful, multi-dimensional message transmission as we've had occur on this program, 3,000 episodes many times, but they've been ramping up for the last 3 months. We've had quite a few shows where there's what seems to be explainable technology glitches and stuff, but it's not. It's not. It's all meaningful. In fact, it's probably more meaningful than the words we speak. Yeah, there's some kind of something going on, which the way I kind of get it is it's not the norm. It's not the normal that is the reality. It's between the lines. It's like looking at something directly and seeing what you think you see, and then looking off maybe 15, 20 degrees and looking at it from your peripheral, you can see a lot more. So we're going to be back. We got 2 more shows today, 2 more heroes' journeys. Thank you, Michael WhiteFeather. You're a spiritual badass, and thank you for bearing your soul and telling what I would think would be a very difficult story. But wow, what a man full of grace and humility and the ability to to recollect and share the story, and then also what he was talking about too, about just being humbled and facing head on all the things that are being presented to us in this very powerful time. It's exciting. All right, we'll be back in 10 minutes, and I'll reach out to Michael and see if we can work something out in the next few days. Yeah. Stay tuned. I think today's going to be a big day. Peace out, everybody. Oh, I hear him come back in, but it's still not his signal or whatever. I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, we'll be back in about 10 minutes with a new friend, and then another show after that. If these shows resonate, please share. We've been getting suppressed and a couple of strikes at YouTube, but we're not going to stop. We got our own website. We're going to continue to build that and expand it. I've just been downloading a bunch of stuff to start stocking it just in case they pull the plug on us at any time. See you guys hopefully in 9 or 10 minutes with a new friend. Michael, if you can hear me, you're not coming through. I can't see you, but we'll see you again, brother. Thank you for sharing. Take care, everybody.